Hello, beloved. This is Antoinette Marie. I believe that every one of us is born with a purpose. No matter who you are, what you do, or how far you think you have to go, you have been tapped by a force greater than yourself to step into your God-given calling. And I also believe that each one of us has an essential role in the whole of humanity. You see, the purpose of me creating Antoinette Marie Speaks is to offer the wisdom of experience from visionaries, artists, teachers, and trailblazers who have walked this road before you and who have shared their inspiration and lessons with me. So let's go. Let's take this journey together and let's discover the purpose for your life on this earth. This is Antoinette Marie Williams. Well, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on where you are. This is Purpose Living with Antoinette Marie Speaks, and I am very, very delighted that you have decided to join me on this beautiful evening. I hope also that your week has gone according to plan. As you know, when you come on, you identify yourself, you say who you are, and this is an interactive conversation. And so today we are speaking about what would you tell your younger self? That's amazing. And let me just do a little background just to let you know how this came about. So many of you know from last week, one of the things that I'm going to turn my volume up a little bit. One of the things that I had, hey Tracy, one of the things that I had spoke about on last week was a new book series that, a new book actually, hey T, that I am going to be having a book club on. And so I'm going to be featuring this book. It calls Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen, The Emotional Lives of Black Women. If you are not a Black woman and you are an ally to Black women, this is a magnificent book. I was stuck on the intro, just stuck on the intro. And so I am really glad to be able to read this book. And this will be our December book club book that we're going to be talking about. So if you don't have it, I'm sure you can get it on Amazon. Amazon has everything. That's where I got mine from. I think it was like $20. But if you are a woman and a woman of color, and particularly, let me tell you, the intro got me. And so if you want to join me and be a part of that, it's going to be very interactive. It's going to be like a conversation, but it also is going to be a safe place for healing, a place that individuals, men and women, will be able to get a lot out of. So this book, a lot of times men are asking, like, what's in the minds of an African American or Black woman? First, you got to know what we done been through to get into what's up here. So, and it's a book. I think I'm on like page 29 now, but it's a book that also helps you from the inside out. It just doesn't leave you speaking about the past. I love that Dr. Ingrid Burnett Ziegler, PhD. I love the fact that she just didn't leave us talking about the woo and everything that we went through, but she also has some solutions. So that's her. All right. So before we get into it, I want to know, how are you today? T, how are you today? Tracy, how are you, beloved? I hope that you are doing really, really well. It's been busy. It's been a busy week. I will tell you that. So today, and if any one of you would like to come on, I'm going to send individual people I'm just going to send you an invite because I would like for this to be very interactive. We're not going to be on here a long time because we don't have a reason to have to be on here uh, a long time. So if you would like to join me, and so you can tell your younger self a couple of things. Wonderful, Tracy. You can tell yourself a couple of things. I think it would be magnificent. Something like having a show or a broadcast, and it's just you doing all the talking. I speak for a living. However, because I speak for a living or train for a living as well, sometimes you just want to not always hear your own voice. So come on, I've sent you T, I've sent you and Tracy an invite. You don't have to be made up and all that other type of stuff. We're on StreamYard. You can just come on and we're going to speak about what would you tell your younger self. And what I would tell my younger self versus what you are going to tell your younger self may be very different. But I would say that somebody else needs to hear what you would tell your younger self because there's somebody that's very similar to you. So one of the things I actually began to have this thought in the back of my head about, like, with everything that's happening right now, we're still speaking about purpose living. I think that this is so apropos because it coincides with purpose living. And if we're living on purpose, I see you. I see you. I see you, Miss Nicole. So if we're talking about purpose living, I think that it's a beautiful thing to be engaged in. If you could tell your younger self something, right? If you could, I'm going to wait also. Maybe Tracy will come on or Shima will come on or a guy. This is not just a girl's conversation, right? This is a women and men's conversation. And so as we go through life, many times we're always looking for, am I on the right page? Am I doing the right thing? Or am I aligned with what I'm supposed to be doing, right? We talk so much about that. And so though we know we cannot go back, come on, God, though we know we cannot go back and tell our younger self, because we are in the present, what we can do is help other individuals. We can help other young women. We can help other young men as well to be able to say, listen, I've done that. And I really, really, truly think that you may just perhaps think about doing it this way, right? For me, I'll start. Like, one of the things, if I could go back and tell my younger self, let's say if I was the age of 10, the one thing I would tell my younger self was, it was not your fault. Yeah, we're going to get into it. I know. That would be one thing I would tell myself. And I would tell myself, it is going to get better. Right. And I would tell myself as I go through ages, right? Ages and stages, as I go through that, I would tell myself, and particularly in my route of being in corporate America and in a C-suite, I would tell myself, girl, take them stiletto heels off. Don't wear them heels every day. That's what I would really be telling myself. Like, stop wearing them patent leather shoes every day. And you got to take off the pencil skirt. Just, you don't have to wear the pencil skirt even on Fridays, right? I would tell myself as I age, be kinder to yourself. Have some self-care. It's okay. It's better than okay just to have an opportunity to relax and not feel guilty about relaxing, right? And then as I continue to grow, Miss Nicole, as I continue to grow, I would tell myself, listen, come on, girl, you better invest into some Amazon and some Tesla. I'm just gonna tell you, just invest. And I know my younger self would be like, what is that? I just would tell myself, and I would tell myself, there's something called crypto coming up. And you might want to have some money so you can do something with it. This is my show. I can talk about crypto if I want to. So as we go, we have a friend of ours, Miss Tracy Randolph, our reset coach, has just come into the green room with us on today. And Miss Nicole, come on back. I know you out there. Come on back. I've sent invites about, I don't know, 10 people or so. So here we go.
Hey.
Hello,
Hello.
how are you?
I'm good. I was cleaning up the kitchen. Like I'm gonna watch my sister while I'm cleaning up.
So today, as you know, we're talking about what would you tell your younger self? So talk to us about things that you would tell your younger self, and maybe have even like 3 stages, maybe at a, like a elementary stage, maybe, middle and or high school, and then your younger self, maybe at the age well, you only, 35, but at the age
Yeah.
but what would you really want your younger self to know
Mm,
about who you are right now and things that they could avoid?
mm. The first one that comes up for me is just I love you.
Yeah.
Because it's so important for us to just take care of ourselves and love on ourselves. So that would be the first thing, because all throughout my
Yeah.
younger years, right, I never really took the time to love myself. I was just on go mode so much.
Yeah.
So definitely that.
Okay.
I think the other thing would be is you are not responsible for everyone,
Mm.
because I took on a responsible role very early in my life.
Okay.
And for a long time, I thought that I had to be responsible for taking care of everyone. So I would definitely tell my younger self that you are not responsible for everyone.
Wow. 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 And I think that so many, and particularly women,
Mm-hmm.
we take on so much because
Yeah.
either we've seen somebody else do it,
Mm-hmm.
either, and sometimes we were told that, as a woman or as a female, you
Mm-hmm.
should be doing this. Um,
Yeah.
whether that is from a relative, a grandparent, a parent, or society.
Mm-hmm.
Or society. I know
Mm-hmm.
when I was growing up, even to this day, I'm not a real doll person. Like I don't like dolls. Somebody in my family used to have a room just filled with baby dolls, like
Creepy.
like porcelain dolls, and I'm like, no, I don't want to. No, I don't want to go in that room.
Yeah.
But one of the things I remembered was I just never was like a girl. Like I never was a that type of young lady. I never liked being really pretty. I didn't really like wearing dresses, that type of thing, because I was out playing football, like with the
Mm-hmm.
guys. And sometimes for whatever reason, people will try to place us into a mold.
Yeah.
So I love that you said the first thing that you would say was, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't tell ourselves that enough,
Mm-mm.
even now.
Yeah.
But we're searching for whatever, or what is our purpose, or whatever our purpose is, and we can't even wake up in the morning and look at the mirror and say, "Girl, you fine."
Yeah. That's right.
I love you so much,
That's right.
And
Yeah.
I think that that's really, important. Just even that, if you can wake up every single morning and say, you're wonderful, you're divine, and give all of that great scrumptious, as Michelle Hardy likes to say, candy. I think that will, I know that our days would go better. We will
Yeah.
be able to handle what comes our way a little bit better.
Yeah. And we would have avoided a lot that we shouldn't have endured if we loved ourselves more. I'm speaking from experience. I'm just gonna say that, right? Yeah. The
Absolutely.
the other thing I wanted to say too is just follow your dreams. I just wanted young ladies out there. There's some young ladies on here to follow your dreams. You know, um, I know your story, part of your story, and my story, right? Doing things that was expected, the status quo. or to have the status, so to speak, right? Because
Yeah.
we were trained to be that way. So I would
Mm-hmm.
say to the young ladies, follow your dreams. Whatever it is, if it goes against the grain, it's okay. Um,
Yes.
yeah, what's greater than you? God is talking to you. If it's something that seems like it's out of the ordinary, just follow your dreams. Follow your dreams, your heart's desires, what's leaning on you. Lean into it and do it.
Woo. What's leaning on you, just lean into it.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness gracious. I
Yeah.
wish somebody would have told me that. I
Me
wish
too.
somebody would have just said, listen, um, I know that you are peculiar. I wish somebody would have just said that. Yes,
Mhm.
you are peculiar.
Yeah.
And that's okay. That's more than okay. I wish somebody would have said that because I'm sure there would have been some decisions that I made
Mhm.
that I would have made better choices.
Mhm.
Sometimes we are attached to an image. I talked a little bit about this weekend in my travel, and we are just so stuck on an image.
Mhm.
And half of the time, the image that we see ain't even real.
Mhm.
Like humans put on so much for other humans,
Mhm.
and on the inside, they're living so unauthentic,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know? Um, and even financially, I really would want to say to my younger self, and particularly like if I'm 17, 18 years old,
Mhm.
uh, invest well. And what does
Mhm.
that look like? You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? Like, what does
Mhm.
investment means? And when I got my first job at
Mhm.
Target, yes, child, I had a job at Target.
Tarjay.
Target, whole 30 days. It was too far from my home, but what I would have said to that young teenager, like, invest in the Target stock,
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
know, save or, well, save a certain percentage of your income,
Mhm.
15%. I always tell people 25%.
Yeah.
And just what we know as women, and particularly African American women, we have to work so much harder.
Mhm.
Like African American women have more degrees than any gender and any ethnicity,
Mhm.
and we still make less.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
That struggle is real.
that struggle is real. That
Yeah.
struggle is real. I think the other thing that I would say too is stop stressing.
Mhm. Yeah.
You know, if I would have had somebody to really sit me down and say, listen, in 2013, you're going to have a brain aneurysm if you don't
Mhm.
stop stressing. Now,
Mhm.
because of my personality back then, I may have been like, it ain't gonna work out like that, and I might have tossed a couple of scriptures out there. But now, when I know that this body is tired, this body is saying, "Listen, I know you want to do that,
Mhm.
but baby, you need to sit down."
Mhm.
So that part too, because I think that a lot of times we say we know our worth, but we don't demonstrate that we know our worth.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. Mhm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, well, I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having
Anybody
me.
else? Oh, you're very, very welcome. You're very welcome. Anybody out there, I know y'all are out there, wants to come on and just talk to yourself. See, listen, this is a great thing about social media, is
Mm.
that this will always be on Meta. I know y'all thought it was still Facebook, but it's called Meta now. Facebook is called Meta. This will always be on here. So,
Yeah.
what is it that you would tell your younger self, Tracy? I appreciate you being on today.
Thank you, my dear. I
You're
love
very welcome. Go ahead and make some of that vegan food.
you.
I'll talk to you later.
All righty. See you later.
So I want to thank Tracy for just jumping on today. I think it's very important too for us to Tell our younger self, be kinder to yourself. Sometimes we're so hard on ourselves, but we're still searching for purpose, right? Yeah. And, we spoke a little bit earlier about, knowing your worth. Always know what you're worth. Because if you don't know what you're worth, then how can you tell someone else what you're worth? How can you negotiate even in contracts, even when it comes to compensation or salaries, even when it comes to relationships? You must know your worth, right? And then the other thing is that as I look at my notes, see, the world is bigger than what you think it is. And many times what we worry about never comes to fruition. So I would tell myself, stop worrying. Stop being so concerned. Stay out of folks' business. Mhm. Yeah, relax. If you could say something to your younger self, would you tell your younger self, relax, stop being so afraid? You have a great idea, do it. And I'm really, really sure that your younger self would be so grateful. That your younger self would say, wow. So I know that we're talking about today, what would you say to your younger self? What would you tell your younger self if you could? So now I'm going to flip this. If you had 3 young women or 3 young men or a mix, what would you tell them? If you were able to be a mentor to young individuals, what would you tell them? What would you tell them about life? Mhm. What would you tell them about um, your life? Would you be transparent with them if you knew that it would help them? If you knew that what you would tell them would help them not to go down a road that may not be the road that they want to go down. I think one of the things I would also say is success is how and what you determine. Success is what success looks like to you. See, to some people, success looks like a Bentley, a Jag, a 6 or 7 bedroom house with the same amount of bathrooms. But success to you may look like peace. Success to you may look like waking up in the morning and knowing your purpose. Success to you may not have anything to do with anything monetary. Success to you may look like joy. Success to you may look like you knowing exactly what you're supposed to be doing for the day. Success to you may be you accomplishing a project and finishing a project on time. See, one thing that I continue to learn is that no one has the ability to make me believe or think anything that I don't want to. Nobody has that ability, right? I also want you to think about saying to these mentees of yours, just small things that are mighty. Like, I love you. Like, you are a great human being. Like, if you ever need someone, here's my information, contact me. I know that, individuals and have a lot of access to a lot of things. But I want to say this to you. There is nothing that can replace human touch. There's nothing that can replace you having a conversation with someone. Nothing can replace that. Texting is, nothing can replace you talking to someone face to face and saying and listening. Nothing can replace that. I would also say, as much as possible, take the high road. If you take the high road, you'll never regret it. It might hurt, but you'll never regret taking the high road. And with that, I would also say, tell the truth all the time. Even if it hurts, speak the truth. My grandmother used to say something. She used to say, Annie, if you tell the truth, you never have to remember what you said. And as I got older, I understood it even more. Just be the truth every single day, because then you don't have to be like, oh, I forgot what I said. No, we don't many times forget what we said. We forgot who we told it to. That's a lot of times what happens, is that we have forgotten who we told it to, because we probably told somebody else something else. The other thing I would say is exercise. Exercise, eat well and healthy. Live a balanced life. Don't let your job, your entrepreneur projects overtake your life. Don't let them overtake your life. Have and live purposely in balance. I know that there are going to be some times in life where you're going to have to perhaps devote more time and attention to a certain thing or to a certain project. But that should not be something that's continual. It shouldn't go on over and over and over again, right? So I want us to think about that. And I also want you to start to schedule rest and enjoying life. Schedule your recreation. This weekend, I had an opportunity to go to a restaurant in Dallas, Texas, called Kitchen and Cocktails. And I tell you, that particular place, and I went there with a relative, and I tell you what, it was so great seeing people that was just enjoying their life. So that's what I want to say to you also on today. Enjoy your life. Yes, life is filled with the do's, the don'ts, and projects, and children, and husbands, and partners, and all of those dutiful things. But I also want to say, with all of that, I want you to enjoy your life. Enjoy your everyday life. In my travels this week, I ended up getting a phone call from one of my kiddos. And one of the things he said to me was, "Mom, are you sitting down?" And I said, "No, but I can be." He said, "You might want to sit down." And so he began to tell me that one of my really close friends had a massive heart attack and passed away. So I can come on here and talk about purpose living, and I mean purpose living. Never let your life be shadows of someone else's life. Never live in the shadows of anyone else. I don't care who they are. God did not create us to live in shadows. He created us to be and to stand out. And so when my son said to me, asked me, was I okay? And I was okay when I was on the phone having that conversation. But after I got off the phone, I began just to kind of breathe a bit, because I had known this person since 1998. And this person had become a really good friend to my family. And to hear that he had passed away from a massive heart attack at the age of 71, alone. So as you go through life, I know tomorrow is Friday and some people are, going to go out and enjoy themselves. Be very aware and be very alert, but enjoy your everyday life. Make great choices. I tell my kiddos this all the time. Make great choices. Because some choices you make, you may never, you go down that road and you like, I made a choice in 2021 and now look what has happened. Sometimes it happens that way. And I also think that getting up in the morning, as I said before, and exercising and feeling good about yourself, that is so important. It's essential to longevity. Even if I heard some people say, like, I don't have a gym. It's okay. You don't have to have a gym. If you have a bedroom, if you have a kitchen, if you have a floor, you can do a jumping jack. So let's just go ahead and do 10. You can run in place, right? You can do oat milk and do arm lifts. There's lots of things that you can do. What I do want to say is no more excuses. No more excuses. No more excuses for you not living your best and authentic life. No more excuses of you wanting to be totally healed and then you're saying, well, I can't be. You can be. If I can, through all of the stuff that I went through, then you can be the same. It takes tenacity. It takes you being and having the courage. You have to have courage to live your best life. You have to have courage to live purposeful. You have to have courage to forgive people. And forgiveness does not always mean reunification. Come on, God, I know that's for somebody. It does not mean reunification. It could be. That could be your choice. But it doesn't have to mean that. And for me, I always want to speak in some way about how much you can heal. Healing is from the inside out. It's from the inside out. And so that's one other thing that I would tell my younger self is that you're going to have to go through a healing process. I called it the heart work. You're going to have to do that heart work, HEART. And as you do that heart work, you'll be able to understand that every single thing that goes on in your life, it's not always your fault. But if you can decide and have the courage within yourself, hey, Vaniqua, Dr. Vaniqua, and decide within yourself that I'm no longer going to allow for the past to hover over me like a dark cloud, then that's the first part in the process of you healing. It's hard to be living intentionally and purposely if you're hurt. And so as we talk tonight about what would you tell your younger self? Vaniqua, what would you tell your younger self? About love, about grace, about financial concerns, about children? What would you tell your younger self? What would you tell someone that is perhaps a mentee of yours? What would you tell them? How would you warn them of certain things? Is it important? I think one of the things I always want us to understand is that your purpose is so much greater than your lack. Because a lot of times people are looking and they're saying, oh, I don't have this, I don't have that. But your purpose is bigger than your lack. And I love what you just said, Vaniqua, about just being patient. Sometimes we ask so many people to be patient or for we ask a lot of people to be patient with us, but are we patient with us? Are we patient with us when perhaps we mess up on something, or something doesn't necessarily go our way? Are we patient with ourselves, or are we just downing ourselves all the time? The other thing I would say, and this is one that I really like, I would say, tell my younger self, get your passport as soon as possible. As soon as you are an adult, and I think once you turn a certain age, I think it might be 18, I think your passport lasts is about, I don't know, 5, 10 years. Get your passport. Do not limit yourself to just the city that you dwell in, the state that you live in, or even the country that you stay in, or even the region that you stay in. Get your passport. And if you can, travel the world, visit other cultures, right? Love on one another. I love what Vanika is saying. She said, don't let what other people are saying or doing, or even your age, rush the process. You will get where you should and need to be in God's timing. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Slow down. You don't have to run after it. You don't have to chase after it. It's okay. You will get there. You will get there. In time, you will get there. Treat people well. Be kind to people. But you know what? Be kind to yourself. Be kind to yourself. We are so used to doing so much for so many other people that we don't take the time and sometimes show our own self that same love. We don't show ourselves that same love. So I'm asking you to show yourself that same love. I'm asking you to be kind to yourself. I'm asking you to go and take a walk in the rain. I'm asking you to know that you are full of grace. I'm asking you to believe that you are tranquil. I'm asking you to know that you are connected to God. I'm asking you to know that you are a huge creator, that you have a crown, a mantle that God has given you. I'm asking you to honor your soul. I'm asking you to know that you are significant. I'm asking you to accept and to honor your own spirit. I'm asking you to let that big light shine. I know we used to sing the song, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. So I just, I changed it up a little bit. This big light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. So I'm asking you to believe that. I'm asking you to believe that. I'm asking you to let yourself know that you will not fear. I'm asking you to let yourself know that you have been divinely connected to the great I am. I'm asking you to tell your younger self, you're beautiful, you're divine, you're gorgeous, you're handsome, you are enlightened. Everything that you touch will succeed, that you are a righteous man or woman. I'm asking you to do that. I'm asking you also to slow down. I'm asking you also to join me in December as we start our book club. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. the emotional lives of Black women. I'm asking you to stop being a superwoman. When people want you to be a superwoman, you give them the cape back. Give them the cape back. You don't have to be a superwoman. Just be a great woman. How about that? I'll take great any day. I'll take great any day. I heard Melanie Hobson say that, and many times in her life, she was always looking for someone to mentor her, to help and to guide her as she was going through her stages in life. Who can you help and guide? If you have children, minor children, help and guide them because they need it. And I also want to say to you, and maybe you will say this to your younger self, it's okay to go and get some counseling or therapy. It's okay. It's okay. I know many cultures are like, oh, no, we don't get therapy. We don't. Well, maybe that's why some of us like we are right now, because some of us, we need some. For all the trauma that we have gone through just in the last year and a half. Yes. Yes. And I want to say this to you. It's great to have powerful and great connections with other human beings. Get some great friends, y'all. Find some great friends. Some friends that will support you. Some friends that will also pull your coattail when need be. Find some of those great friends. Find some individuals that are smarter than you. Don't hire people that are just like you. Hire people that are different than you. Give people an opportunity. And above that, give yourself an opportunity to grow. Love on yourself. Love on yourself, whatever that looks like for you. That's what I would be telling my younger self. I remember when Stacy, she did a session. It was in some group that I was in. And I remember her saying, bring that younger self, that younger girl, bring her to where you currently are. So I know that there are things that perhaps have happened in your life and to your life. But I want to say to you, you are an overcomer of all of it. Will you have to go through some things? Absolutely. Can you overcome them? Absolutely. Absolutely. But we have to start being real and authentic with ourselves. We have to really, really start to say and to know that, you know what? Okay, I messed up. That doesn't mean that I'm not a good person. That just means that I messed up. That means that a good person messed up. But you can get back up again. And that's the peace. Is that you're not so hard on yourself, beloved, that you can get back up again. Get back up again. You can get back up. Because if you don't, that's where the failure comes in. That's where it seems as though we have failed, is when we don't get back up. And I want to say to you tonight that I love you. And there's nothing that you can do about it. I want to see you well. I want to see you healthy. I want to see you grow. I want to see you really knowing and walking in that thing called purpose. Every single morning you wake up, you have another opportunity. You have another opportunity to love on yourself. You have another opportunity to stand in the mirror and do affirmations and just say, you are dynamic, you're beautiful, you're dynamic, you're handsome. Everything that you touch, it will prosper. There is nothing beneath you. Everything that you have, God has intentions for it. You're my, and this is what you can continue to say. My children are well. My husband is well. My spouse is well. Every single thing, it belongs to me. Kingdom belongs to me. I have been made in the image of the great I am. Every morning you say that, because what you speak out of your mouth, it is released into the atmosphere, and it must permeate and go someplace. So we have to be careful about what we say to our children, to our spouses, to ourselves. We can no longer say, well, I was mad and I was angry, and that's why I said that. That word that you spoke, it has to go someplace. It has to go someplace. So why not say and speak over your daughter? Why not speak over your daughter's life and say, listen, I just want to let you know that I love you so much. And every single step of the way, I'm going to be there for you. Every single thing that happens to you, that you can come to me and we can talk about it. Speak that to your daughter. And for men, speak greatness into your sons' lives. They need you. I know we got social media and we got video games and all that, but that never will replace a father. That never will replace a mother. Have on a Saturday or on a Friday, have family night, cards, whatever it is, chess, checkers, Scrabble, eat, have some popcorn, some whatever you want to have, even if that means just for 2 hours. Think about it, 2 hours out of your entire week that you have decided that you're going to give that time to your children, your legacy. Because whether we like it or not, we all are not going to be here. There's going to be a time where we're not going to be here. And what will your legacy say? My mom worked a lot and she was a great provider. I think we can do better than that. I think we can do better than that. I want my children to say, my mom was a magnificent mother. She may have not always got it right, but I know that she loved me. I know that my mother loved me. I know that my mother is kind. I want my children to be able to say that and say it truthfully. You know, sometimes we go to funerals and people talking about someone and this person, and they just might have been as mean as a junkyard dog, but we saying all this positive. Oh, they was just great. Stop it. But you and your children can say it with all certainty that my dad was a great father. Your children, to be able to know that your children can say with all certainty that my mother was a fantastic mother, that my mother loved me. Can your children say that my mother nurtured me, that my mother had compassion for me, that my mother had empathy and she showed it towards me, and that when I made a mistake, she did not say, I told you so. I want your children to be able to say that about you and you and you. That's the beauty of waking up every single morning, because you have been given another opportunity to improve. You've been given another opportunity to shift things so that they are better for not just you, but also for your children. One of my daughters was going through something this week. And one of the greatest things that I saw was she came to me and she had a situation. And so I end up speaking to her and saying, hey, go and talk to, my husband's name is Wesley. Go and talk to, we call him Mr. Wesley. I never force my children to call my husband dad. My children are adults, right? And so she went to work. She came by the house, and we were sitting on the couch, and I asked her, I said, well, how are things going? And she started speaking. And then my husband, come on, God, this is getting ready to help somebody. I know that it is. So as she was speaking, I looked at my husband and I said, this is your time. And my husband will never overarch. There's certain boundaries and he just won't do it. But this week he said to her, he said, I just want to let you know that I love you. For a woman, my daughter is in her 20s, for a young woman to hear that no matter what she has done, no matter what the situation is, that she is loved by a man that's not even biologically hers. Come on up in this room. And we're talking about some really wholesome, authentic love and care and affection. My husband is a United States Marine Corps veteran. We don't show a whole lot of emotion. So my husband stood up and he told our daughter, he said, stand up. And he said, I love you. There's nothing that you can do, no situation. And she didn't even do anything. So I'm protecting her right now because I'm saying it a little bit different because I know she's probably watching right now. But he hugged her, he embraced her and said, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. If you need us, we are here. And to see our daughter cry, and I didn't want her to cry, but to see her have confidence and reassurance that she is a great human being, that God has his hands upon her life. And my husband went and got her some tissue, and I just looked at her. And so today, because sometimes my kiddos they'll come by to see their little brother. Sydney, hey Sydney. They'll come by to see Sydney, right? Sydney is our golden doodle, right? But then today, I saw her and I spoke to her and I said, how are you doing? She was like, I'm doing better. You never know. One word can change a person's life. One word, one hug, one gesture of love, one gesture of compassion can change someone's outlook upon their own lives. It only takes one time. So I'm encouraging you on today to take some time. Let your younger self know that goodness and mercy shall follow them all the days of their life. Let your younger self know that he or she is whole. Can we do that? Can we let our younger self know that yes, some negative things are going to come your way, but you have the courage to get through them. You have the courage to do and be great because we are great. You have the courage to do fantastic things. And for us to know that God has created. And let me tell you something, baby, what God has created, every single thing that God created, what did God say? What did God say? And it is good. That's what God said. God said that what he has created, it is good. Nothing that God created is bad. God created you intentionally and on purpose. Do you believe that? So when you get an opportunity to have a conversation with some young folk, let them know that they're great. When you make, how about you make an opportunity? I like that even better. Make an opportunity to have some conversation. Be a mentee, be a mentor, to someone that you want to see them succeed. That you want to see them do great things. Be intentional about that. So, as you all know, and I'll just put this quickly in the recap. For December, I'm having a book club, and this is the book that I am reading. It's called Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen, The Emotional Lives of Black Women. Listen, you can judge a book by its cover, but I will tell you, if you read just the introduction, you will be already capsulated. This is a great opportunity for men and women, allies of African American women as well. If you want to know how you can help, if you want to start a initiative, right here. Nobody knows the life. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. You can find it at Amazon. You can probably Kindle it as well. And so my goal in December is to have 10 individuals, men and women. We will come on live. Maybe we will record it. I'm not sure. And we will have a transparent conversation just back and forth about what we learned in this particular book. We probably will read, it's about 240 pages. We probably will take the first 5 chapters and we will chapter them down just for 4 weeks, probably for 3 weeks, because we won't go into the Christmas time, because I honor and respect that. So Beniqua, Tracy, Shima, Tay, go ahead and get your book. I don't know the author. I just know when I saw the book, it it pulled me in. It pulled me in right away. And I love a good read. My goal is I thought initially that I was just going to read it, all at once, but I decided that I wanted to be a part of the process. And so December, the first Thursday in December, we will be live doing a recap. And listen, bring your tea, bring whatever you want to bring, and we're going to talk about it. And I really, truly believe it's going to help some individuals, men and women. It's going to help us understand how we can be an ally or how we can improve our own lives. Men, a lot of times you're like, oh, I just can't seem to get through. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. If you can't, come alongside of us. I really would like to have some men to join us in this particular book. Nobody Knows the Trouble I've Seen, The Emotional Lives of Black Women. And I really, truly believe that after we read this, and now, obviously everything is not going to correlate with you. That's just how books are. But I want to say this to you. I have had the opportunity to read the first 29 pages, and I was on the plane and I didn't have a pen or a piece of a marker, and somebody gave me a marker, and it really wasn't a highlighter. It's really a marker. And so I'm just marking up the book, y'all. But I want to just say this. There's so much greatness within you. And never, ever forget that. Never forget that. Never forget how beautiful you are. Never forget that you have an opportunity to continue to improve your own personal life. Never forget that you are divine. You have so much greatness in you. You have so much, we call it candy. You have so much candy in you, and that God is on your side. And I want to say, if you have a husband or a wife, let your husband or your wife know that they are important to you. And if you have children, your children are your legacy. No matter what somebody else has told you, your children are your legacy. Keep your relationships strong and let them know that you love them. I know things are happening and things are opening up. If you can, please celebrate together with your family. And sometimes family is not blood, but I want to say to you today, show love. Love is not just what you say. It really, honestly, is what you do. Have a fantastic, beautiful weekend. And I'll see you next week. I'll see you Sunday on Bridging the Nations, 8 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern Time, as we give the greatness, the good word that we usually give every single Sunday. Be well. Take care. I love you.
Hello, beloved. This is Antoinette Marie. You know, I believe that every one of us is born with a purpose. No matter who you are, what you do, or how far you think you have to go, you have been tapped by a force greater than yourself to step into your God-given calling. And I also believe that each one of us has an essential role in the whole of humanity. You see, the purpose of me creating Antoinette Marie Speaks is to offer the wisdom of experience from visionaries, artists, teachers, and trailblazers who have walked this road before you and who have shared their inspiration and lessons with me. So let's go. Let's take this journey together and let's discover